Stop!
Okay, see, I always think I want to do this, and then I see something like that. No, not for me.
This is Sportscentre.
Hey, everyone, I feel like we've been counting this day down for weeks. But in reality, there have been many countdowns, and we are sorry for that. First to the fake start of the real season, then to the start of the actual season, and then the countdown to tonight. Because Canadian teams will take the ice for the first time. And tonight is finally here. It's Leafs and Habs from the Bell Centre. Obviously, I wore blue today for a reason, people. But don't worry, Oilers fans, we're going to be talking about your squad later in the show. I'm not going to forget about you. Let's start with some big news, though, as Anthony Stolarz will get the start in net tonight. Not Joseph Woll, who was expected to start. Woll was in discomfort about a save he made at practice last week, but was a full participant in practice Monday and Tuesday. However, he did experience lower body tightness, with Craig Berube holding him out, saying it's precautionary.
Woll experienced some lower body tightness yesterday. It's precautionary, so we're going to keep him out tonight.
Now, given the history of the Leafs, it's almost like anything they do in the regular season doesn't really matter at all, because ultimately they're going to be judged on whatever happens in the postseason. And honestly, yeah, fair. But let's use the FanDuel odds to guide us on what kind of regular season is expected. Their over-under on points is 101.5, a total that they've gone over 3 straight seasons. They're 11-1 to win the President's Trophy, and plus 260 for the division. And here comes the numbers that the embarrassing Leaf fan in me will bet. 7-1 to win the conference, and 15-1 to win the cup. That sounds like a juicy sprinkle to me. Plan the parade. Now, individually, the player with more at stake than anyone this year is Mitchell Marner, who's entering the final year of a 6-year contract. A contract that pays him an AAV of 10.9 mil. And with all the speculation in the offseason of a potential trade, following an abysmal postseason where he put up 3 points in 7 games, all eyes will be on Mitch Marner to start the season, and for good reason. But all eyes will also be on new captain Auston Matthews. And the first game of the season is one he relishes. In his previous 8 games to begin a season, Matthews has 12 goals and 3 assists, with 2 hat-tricks and 4 multi-goal games. So yeah, Poppy is gonna go off tonight. Just another year to be grateful that we've got Auston Matthews, you know? Alright, we are now joined by our guy Mark Masters ahead of another Leafs season. Mark, what is your excitement level on a scale of 1 to 10?
67, Marissa, in honor of former Hab-turned-Leaf Max Pacioretty.
You know what? I knew you were going to say that. Okay, Mark, in your opinion, what's the biggest storyline you're interested in for the Leafs entering into tonight?
Well, it's got to be goaltending. Joseph Woll was supposed to get the start here tonight. He said he was so excited to play in this building for the first time. Now it turns out he's dealing with lower body tightness and will be held out as a precaution, a big setback for a guy who's been injury prone in his young career and worked so hard on body stability in the offseason. So Anthony Stolarz gets the start, and now he has a great chance to really become the 1A in this tandem and win more playing time. He was excellent, Marissa, in the preseason with a .964 save percentage in 3 appearances.
All right, let's finish with a fill in the blank. After Auston Matthews, the most important player for the Leafs this season is...
Well, if I can't say Matthews, I'll go with his running mate and line mate, Mitch Marner, who's entering the final year of his contract. No extension in place. He'll be under the microscope like never before. He plays big minutes. The Leafs really feed off his energy. And General Manager Brad Treliving was absolutely raving about Marner yesterday, said he could not have asked for more from him during training camp. Marissa, I think Marner is primed for a huge season.
Mark Masters, a pleasure as always. Enjoy the game tonight.
Montreal, Toronto on opening night. Marissa, I'm not sure it gets much better than this.
The non-European leg of the NHL 2024 season got underway last night with an all-American evening. And as we told you at the top of the show, North of the Border gets their turn tonight with 3 Canadian team matchups on tap. The Oilers start their journey back to the Stanley Cup against the Jets tonight. On the Jets side of things, they fell in 5 to the Habs in a disappointing postseason run. But for the Oilers with the Amazon series hot off the press, Connor McDavid is all the buzz right now. But with a lot of the talk about last season, Connor's ready to move on.
It's about this year. You know, we've talked a lot about last year. A lot of questions about it, a lot of different things about last year. I've answered all of them, done everything, but we're moving on.
And he's got an old friend back in the fold to help him complete his ultimate goal, with the Oilers inking Travis Dermott to a contract yesterday after a successful pro tryout. He's of course part of the Erie Otters crew, playing with McDavid and Jr., and is a former Jeff Jackson client. He also played under coach Chris Knobloch, so yeah, he should fit in just fine. But people are expecting a monster year from McDavid after how hard he took losing in the finals. So yeah, we'll see what he's serving up this season. He's cooking. But the script says serves up, so shouldn't the picture be of a server and not a cook? You know what? It doesn't matter. happy start of the NHL season, Canada. Now let's finish with some football, because according to Adam Schefter of ESPN, the Davante Adams trade talks appear to be intensifying, which makes sense considering yesterday's firing of Jets head coach Robert Saleh, with Schefter adding that the Raiders would consider a second-round pick and additional compensation in an Adams trade. Now the Jets and Saints were reportedly high on Adams' wish list. However, following Saleh's firing, Schefter actually thinks a trade to the Jets might be less likely.
So it's hard now to go to Woody Johnson after a loss in a city that he worked as the ambassador, say we've now lost another game. He's probably even more angry than he was last week. He wound up firing his head coach. Oh, now let's go spend the money that's required and needed to go get Davante Adams when Aaron Rodgers has gotten dinged up the last 2 games, his knee the week before, his ankle now, everything feels fragile. I would think that the owner would be in less of a mindset to go make a bold move like that.
And seeing as how it's already Wednesday, it doesn't seem like he's going to be moved this week. And speaking of the Jets, Aaron Rodgers was on Pat McAfee this afternoon and spoke with the firing of his head coach and the accusation that he had a hand in it.
As far as any of the ridiculous allegations out there, I'm not going to spend more than one sentence in response to it, and that is that I resent any of those accusations because they're patently false. And it's interesting the amount of power that people think that I have, which I don't.
I don't know, I'm personally not in the business of believing Aaron Rodgers, but that's just me. That's all for news here at Pick and Rock Eastern and Pacific. Have a good one.